Imagine that you forgot to charge your phone overnight. If you wake up and see that only 5% of the battery remains, you would never expect it to perform perfectly throughout the entire day. Yet when it comes to our brains, that is exactly what we do. We sleep for only 4 or 5 hours, then expect our memory, mood, heart, and immune system to function normally. Most surprisingly, sleep-deprived people often fail to recognize just how poorly they are functioning. They may believe they are fully awake, while their brains can briefly and secretly slip into a sleep-like state. Their eyes remain open and their bodies keep moving, but their attention disappears for a moment. If you are driving, that single moment could be enough to change your life forever. So, what is our body actually doing while we sleep? Why does good sleep strengthen memory, protect the heart, and regulate appetite? And what hidden damage can sleep deprivation begin to cause inside the body? The Expepel team has prepared another fascinating and informative video for you. Today, using the latest scientific research, we will explore the mysterious processes that occur inside the brain and body during sleep, discover how quality sleep protects our health, and reveal the dangers that prolonged insomnia may be hiding. Sleep is not 8 hours of the day being wasted. It is an active restoration process for the brain and body. Although we may appear disconnected from the outside world, an enormous amount of work begins inside us. Memories are organized, emotions are processed, hormones are balanced, immune activity is regulated, and the cardiovascular system enters a state of recovery. In 2025, the American Heart Association emphasized that sleep health should not be evaluated only by sleep quality, regularity, timing, and daytime alertness must also be considered. Most adults are advised to get approximately 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. But the number of hours alone is not enough. Going to bed at completely different times every day, waking repeatedly during the night, or feeling exhausted in the morning are not signs of healthy sleep. The first major benefit of sleep is connected to memory. Throughout the day, our brains receive an almost endless stream of information. People's faces, conversations, newly learned knowledge, emotions, and even details that seem unimportant are recorded by the brain. During sleep, the brain begins sorting through this information. Important memories are strengthened, while unnecessary information is pushed aside. Think of it as a cluttered office desk. During the day, hundreds of documents are dropped onto its surface. At night, the brain organizes those documents and places them into the correct folders. If you do not get enough sleep, yesterday's disorder remains on the desk, while new information continues piling on top of it. As a result, attention weakens, mistakes increase, and even simple decisions become more difficult. Another mysterious function of sleep is connected to the brain's waste clearance system. This is known as the glymphatic system. Through the movement of fluid within the brain, it helps remove certain waste products left behind by cellular metabolism. Recent studies suggest that sleep quality, glymphatic function, and memory may be connected. People who sleep poorly have shown disruptions in the coordination between this cleaning system and the brain's neural networks, along with reduced memory performance. However, scientists are still investigating all the mechanisms involved in this highly complex process. Good sleep also helps us regulate our emotions. After a restful night, a small problem usually feels like nothing more than a small problem. After a sleepless night, however, ordinary traffic, a negative comment, or a delayed message may feel like a major disaster. Sleep deprivation can disrupt the balance between the brain systems that detect emotional threats and the regions responsible for evaluating situations logically. As a result, a person may become more irritable, anxious, impatient, and emotionally reactive. This is not merely a matter of mood. Sleep and mental health influence each other in both directions. Poor sleep can damage mood, while anxiety and depression can make sleep even more difficult. Without realizing it, a person may become trapped inside a harmful cycle. Sleep also gives the heart a much-needed nighttime break. During healthy sleep, heart rate and blood pressure usually decrease. The body enters a relatively calm state for several hours. But when sleep is too short, frequently interrupted, or irregular, the cardiovascular system may not receive the full opportunity it needs to recover. A major study that followed more than 72,000 participants found that people with the most irregular sleep schedules had a higher risk of serious cardiovascular events, including heart attack, stroke, and heart failure. The most important finding was that simply sleeping for enough hours did not completely eliminate the negative effects associated with an irregular schedule. Because this was an observational study, it cannot definitively prove that irregular sleep directly causes these conditions. However, the results suggest that sleep regularity may be just as important as sleep duration. Sleep also plays an important role in regulating metabolism and appetite. Why do so many people crave sweets, fast food, and fatty meals after a sleepless night, instead of choosing an apple or vegetables? Insufficient sleep can affect hunger and fullness signals, stress hormones, and the body's response to glucose. A tired brain begins searching for a rapid source of energy. As a result, high-calorie foods may appear more appealing than usual, while self-control becomes more difficult. If this pattern continues regularly, it may contribute to overeating, weight gain, and metabolic problems. Maintaining a healthy weight, therefore, depends not only on exercise and nutrition, but also on sleep. Sleep is also essential for the immune system. The immune system does not shut down while we sleep. On the contrary, it coordinates protective responses, regulates inflammation, and contributes to the formation of immune memory. Chronic sleep deprivation can disrupt immune function, intensify certain inflammatory processes, and weaken the body's response to infections. That is why it is no coincidence that the body demands more sleep when we are sick. It is not trying to make us lazy. It is forcing us to recover. Now, let us consider what may happen after just one completely sleepless night. Attention begins to fragment. Reaction time slows down. A person may read the same sentence repeatedly, forget simple things, and make dangerous decisions. The most deceptive part is that people may eventually believe they have adapted to sleeping less. In reality, their performance may continue to deteriorate. They simply become less capable of recognizing the decline. The brain can sometimes enter a state known as microsleep, lasting only a few seconds. From the outside, you may appear awake, but your brain temporarily stops processing important information from your surroundings. Behind the wheel, at a dangerous height, or beside operating machinery, those few seconds can be deadly. Long-term insomnia is a separate and serious problem. If someone struggles to sleep several times a week, the condition continues for months, and it interferes with daily life. It should not be dismissed as merely a bad habit. Chronic insomnia has been associated with depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, and type 2 diabetes. However, there is an important scientific distinction to understand. An association does not always mean that insomnia directly caused the disease. Sometimes an existing illness disrupts sleep. In other cases, a separate factor may contribute to both conditions. Even so, the available scientific evidence is strong enough to show that persistent sleep problems should never be ignored. So, how can we improve our sleep? Try to wake up at approximately the same time every day, including weekends. Get natural sunlight in the morning and remain physically active during the day. However, intense exercise too close to bedtime may make falling asleep more difficult for some people. Reduce exposure to bright screens and strong lighting during the evening. The effects of caffeine can remain in the body for several hours, so limiting it during the second half of the day may also be helpful. Keep your bedroom dark, quiet, and slightly cool. Do not remain in bed for long periods while desperately trying to force yourself to sleep. The brain should recognize the bed as a place for sleep, not as a place for anxiety, work, or endless phone use. If insomnia continues for a long time, sleeping medication is not the only available option. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, commonly known as CBTI, is considered one of the leading first-line treatments for chronic insomnia. It helps change the thoughts, habits, and negative associations with the bed that may be preventing healthy sleep. If you experience loud snoring, pauses in breathing during sleep, morning headaches, overwhelming daytime sleepiness, or persistent insomnia, it is important to consult a healthcare professional. The problem may not be ordinary insomnia. it could be sleep apnea or another medical condition. Every night when you sleep, you are not losing time from your life. Instead, you are giving your brain, heart, immune system, and entire body an opportunity to recover. You are preparing your memory, attention, emotional stability, and metabolic balance for the following day. Sleep is not weakness. It is not laziness. Sleep is a biological necessity for a healthy life. So tonight, before sacrificing another hour of sleep for just one more video, think carefully. That video will still be there tomorrow, but the recovery time your body loses tonight will never return in exactly the same form. If you found this video helpful, subscribe to the Exapel channel, share it with your friends, and tell us about your personal experience with sleep in the comments. How many hours do you usually sleep each night? We look forward to reading your answers in the comments. Thank you for watching.